Good evening, pre-calculus students. Here's a little assistance if you've got stuck on number 64. So what I've done is I've come up with a similar problem to number 64, and I'm going to walk you through the steps. So looking at our function, we notice that we have an even root. So what's inside the radical needs to be greater than or equal to 0. Now we can't isolate x, so instead we're going to go ahead and factor. Notice that both x squared and 7x have a factor of x. So I factor out the x, and I get x times the quantity x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 0. If this was an equal sign, we'd set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Well, we really can't do that with this inequality sign. So what we're going to do, though, is go ahead and solve it as if it were equal to 0. Setting each factor equal to 0, I get x equals 0, and then solving this one, I get x equals 7. So I'm going to divide the number line into 3 intervals, these being my critical points. This is very similar to what we did in the last chapter. So this interval will be from negative infinity to 0, this one from 0 to 7, and the last one from 7 to infinity. So for these intervals, we're going to go ahead and pick a number in the interval and see whether this product is positive or negative. So I'll pick -1. I'll pick 1 for the middle interval. And I'll pick 8 for the last interval. So plugging this in for x, -1 times -8, I know is a positive number. If I plug 0 in, I get 0. If I plug 1 in, 1 times 1 minus 7 is negative. Plugging 7 in, I get 0. And if I plug 8 in, I get a positive number. So what intervals is it greater than or equal to 0? Well, I see that it's everywhere except for the middle interval. So then I write my answer as from negative infinity to 0, including 0, because notice it's greater than or equal to 0. And then I'm going to combine that with the interval from 7 to infinity. And that's the domain.